Good morning. Welcome to Nexen Consulting YouTube channel. I'm Aida Kamara Crowder. I am an international career coach and I'm also a professional development speaker. I've created this channel to share some career tips and strategies by interviewing experts in the field and learn from them how they navigated their own career journey. And hopefully some of those tips will help you achieve your own career goals. So today the subject that we'll be talking about is related to international careers, how to lead your own international career, how to navigate going abroad and experiencing what it's like to work in another country. So we have the honor actually of hosting Desiree Fabian, who is currently working in Germany at Amazon and has a fantastic story to tell, and it will be great to hear from her how this experience has shaped her own career and what she can share with us today. And I think we're going to get a snippet of what it's like to work at Amazon Germany. So I can't wait for that part as well. So Desiree, thank you for being with us and would love to have you introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Ed. It's nice to be able to support this and help others learn. So I am American and I grew up in California. I'd spent about 6 years in telecom before getting my MBA. And at that point was very focused on business development and realized, I really have a passion for media. This is the space that I want to get into, but I also want to go abroad. And so Amazon Germany gave me an opportunity to work there, and I've been there for now 3 years. I work in our TVOD business, so that means where you rent and buy movies. And I'm a senior content acquisition manager, and that means I negotiate with studios to get their content onto our service.
I love it. I love it. Not only you are bringing your business development expertise, now you're taking it to the media space, which is a passion for you. I remember our conversations around that. And of course, you're making it international. Why not? So Desiree, kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
Can't wait to dive a little further into what you do. And, let's hear a little bit what it's like to work at Amazon Germany.
Yeah, Amazon is really fantastic. One of the things that you get to do is you work on some really big problems and problems that usually other people haven't solved before. So I'd say with the team, it's a media team. So across whether that's, very many parts of video, but everyone is passionate. I mean, they're really whip smart, passionate about what you do. The cooler talk is about, what film or movie you should watch next. So that's really exciting. But the undercurrent across all of it is we're really Amazonian. And so that means that we are customer obsessed. We want to make sure that everything that we deliver out there supports the customer and is driven by data, of course, data, and analysis. And so make sure that what we have passion for our customers, and we make sure that what we're bringing them is really spoken to by the numbers we have to back that up.
I love it. I love that you're touching on the data piece and the customer, which is how we know Amazon to be, right? Really customer driven and the data piece. So thank you for highlighting that. So now I would like for us to dive into our subject about the international piece. What does it take to work abroad? I moved to the US 14 years ago from France.
Right.
And so I know that when you go and work abroad, there's pieces of you actually that you end up discovering. So I would love to hear from you what that experience has been. If there were any surprises about yourself, about the new culture, or anything about that.
Yeah, in the US, we're so big, we move around a lot, and we get comfortable. And so we think, okay, great, we can move anywhere. And you think, it'll take me 3 months and I'm settled. And that's probably true for the US. But I think when you go abroad, you really need to have a lot of patience with yourself. At the 3-month mark in Germany, still couldn't read anything, couldn't order food in German. And you really have to really think like, okay, this is a new experience. Like at home, the whole culture. Here, you have to get to know, where is my grocery store? How do people ask for things? What's the protocol just living somewhere? So having a lot of patience with yourself is important. And developing a local support network, I think, was really critical to my success here. Most of your support network is still there, but for half the time you're awake, they're asleep. And so you want to have someone local that knows the same thing that you're going through, that can help navigate. So other expats who have maybe been here for longer, expats who've been here at the same time. I was lucky enough through my MBA network to have friends who I met at school or friends who introduced me, and they helped me transition. They showed me what to do to get an apartment, how to settle in, where to get things. And now they're actually really good friends of mine. But I think having that patience for yourself and the support network, these are the two things that really will set you up to be successful wherever you land.
Yeah, and I love that piece about the networking and the support, because at the end of the day, there's an initiative piece, right? You had to also be willing to branch out. How did you go about that? I mean, what pushed you to say, okay, I'll reach out and
come over here? So before I went to business school, I went with the intention that I wanted to have an international career. And that's because I saw the leaders at my old company, they had an international experience, but I thought that international probably extended beyond our time zone and the things that we are comfortable with. And so I wanted to go somewhere else completely different. While some would say Europe is really close to America, that might be true in some places like Dublin or London, but it's not true at the same degree coming to Germany. So it was enough that I knew it was a strong economy. I knew there was a very mature business community that I had a lot to learn. But at the same time, I could also stretch and grow because it was not what I was used to. And so being here, I have now, and this is probably getting into the next questions, but I've had to negotiate across 4 different countries, interact with 6 to 7 new ones. And that really has broadened the scope of my knowledge internationally and why I wanted to be here.
Yes, this is so great, because you're talking about your last project, which I thought was fascinating because it was on Amazon Prime Videos, correct?
Yeah.
And you had to actually negotiate and work across continents, right? So not only you left your USA to go to Germany, here you are as a business development specialist, right, in your field, and all of a sudden you have to branch out to other continents. So that really takes some cultural dexterity. Would you say that, you know, that first step to have navigated working in Germany helped you or grounded you in being able to work with other continents and other cultures?
Absolutely. So my first role at Amazon, I was already getting exposed to 3 other countries, which I also still negotiated in. And that gave me a flavor of how do each of those countries work very differently. So then when I finally got into the negotiating seat, I was able to put some of those learnings into practice. Like the way that you negotiate in the Netherlands might be slightly different than in France because just cultural practices are different, and how you approach the whole relationship could be different. And so the combination of having had those interactions before, plus actually understanding from my colleagues who negotiated in those countries or were actually from those countries, gave me that that muscle to understand, you know, Americans negotiate in a specific way. It's neither right nor wrong. It's just different. And so being flexible enough to adapt so that way you can be successful in other countries was really important. And you're going to make mistakes. I made them, but you learn from that. And I think what really is important is, at the day, like as you said in the beginning, we're humans. We're, you know, want to connect with each other. This helps us. And so if you're open and you're friendly, obviously you have your company's position, but that openness is really going to go a long way. Because at least from my perspective, I'm not just a behemoth of an American company coming in and telling other countries this is how we work, but really showing that openness.
Yes, absolutely. I really, really like the piece about openness and the piece about, it's almost that curiosity also about the other, you know, how they operate. And this is what cultural dexterity is also about.
Yes,
if you decide to go internationally, you need to be willing to learn about the other one.
Yeah.
It's probably tempting to compare. It's natural, but at the same time, right? It's like embracing this new way and say, hey, you know, this is a new skill for me, because now you're building an additional toolkit for yourself.
Definitely. Yeah.
So when you have conversations with individuals who are willing to go abroad or who have doubts about
Yeah.
that, what do you tell them?
I would say really you have to be introspective and know how comfortable you are. So there are different, step one is to know how that comfort level, because there are different levels of going outside. If you go to a place, as I said, like Amsterdam, London, or Dublin, for an American, that's going to be a little bit easier because at least they speak English, it's fairly international, and a lot of the
Right.
companies there are very close to home. Or you could say, you know, I'm actually willing to go much farther. I've either learned a language or have a really deep interest in a different culture. So then maybe you want to go to Japan or you want to go to France or somewhere in Africa. So really know what you're looking for and be really honest about how comfortable you are, because your first move isn't your only move. You can build up to what
Love
maybe
it.
could be a more intimidating move. I think second to that is, what's your skill set and where do you really want to be? So if I'm in finance, maybe Frankfurt, Zurich, London. But if I'm in tech, maybe I'm thinking, at least for Europe, maybe I'm thinking Dublin, Amsterdam, London. So really think about what roles you want to go for as well as your comfort level. And then in terms of tactics, I'd say there are a couple of things that you can do. One is you can network with people within your, alumni base or people you know. And it's fine if you start in the US, because companies that are comfortable, like an Amazon, to let you go abroad, people will go back and forth across borders. So don't underestimate that an American network can help you connect outside. If you're a recent grad, look at the graduate programs. Those help,
Yeah.
and that's really valuable. Job boards as well, from alumni or not, those
Yeah.
are great. And then all of that notwithstanding, if none of those avenues work, apply for jobs that speak to your background. If you have an IT background, if you have marketing, if you have finance, apply to those roles, because you already have a skill set that they're interested in, and all you now need to do is change location. That's easier for them, as opposed to maybe I'm in finance today and tomorrow I want to get into technology. That's harder for other countries to take a risk on you, and not all countries are as risk seeking as the US and is willing to take a chance. So that might be your foot in the door, and then you can explore around in a different country. So I think those three steps of knowing yourself, knowing where what you want to do is located, and then actually using the tactics to get your foot in the door will be helpful.
That's fantastic. This is great advice, because you're touching on the networking piece. You're touching on what do you want? I always go
Yeah.
to that, right? As a
Yeah.
career coach, it's like, what's important to you? What are you trying to do, right?
Yeah.
And that stretch of, being
Yeah.
willing to come out of your comfort zone. And
Yeah.
it's hard work, but if it's driven by what you want, so be it,
Yeah.
right?
Then you're in a good spot. Yeah.
Then you're in a good spot. You know why you're
Yeah.
working hard, right?
Exactly.
So I
Exactly.
love that you touched on this. You mentioned it a little bit, but I feel like we didn't dive a little. We
Okay.
need to
Yeah.
dive a little more into that. So when you got your offer to Amazon Germany,
Yeah.
because again, when you were recruiting, honestly, Desiree, you were set for success because you had a
Thank you.
great background already, and you could have had numerous options here in the US,
Yeah.
obviously, but you were not speaking German.
Mm-hmm.
And you got this offer in Germany. What triggered you to say, yes, I'm taking this one? What were the reasons around it? And then maybe you tapped into your network to understand, but what was that reasoning for you?
Yeah. I'd say for me, if I think about where I am in my life, my career before MBA, I knew and had explored a lot of things, but this was the element of my career that I hadn't explored. Amazon is a strong brand. I knew that if it wasn't a fit, I could always come home. But it just felt like the right time to, without strong commitments that I needed to stay in the US, let me go abroad. Let me have a time to explore. And so with all that I could learn with this company, the fact that it was a rotational program where I knew I'd get many different experiences. And on top of that, in Germany, where it is an industrial country, meaning that, they are known for their cars, they're known for their manufacturing. It was a place that was known for strong business sense, a really successful economy, that there was going to be a lot to learn here. And on top of that, even, like I said, I could come back home, but with Amazon, I also knew I could keep on going. I could keep on going other places. I could get a lot of other experiences just by being with this one company. So there was a lot here that, yes, there were opportunities in the US and they were great, but this was the door to explore so many things I hadn't discovered yet, and would give me a platform to do a lot more than I thought I could do with some of these other offers. And to date, it's proven true in spades.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think you did the right thing, because
Thank you.
not only you're building on your international career, now you're negotiating abroad. It's like you've been able to actually add to your toolkit as a business developer, and you know, to expand on an industry, a field of interest also with your expertise in media. So kudos to you, and well done. I think this is a great inspiration for anyone interested in pursuing an international career, but even in business development too. So you covered quite a bit. This is the expertise from the business development person right there, to the point. We covered it. And I think there's a lot that our viewers can take from. Is there anything else you would like to add before we close this? But I can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts?
If you are excited and this is something that you think you want to explore, you know, I would say do it. It's a really rewarding experience. There's a lot of us who've done it. You'll be surprised when you land in your specific city, wherever it happens to be, how many expats are there and willing to show you what you need to do to get comfortable, to settle in, to make sure you're successful. So don't be afraid, do it. It's a lot of fun, and who knows, you might even stay out there. But I hope this is really helpful for your viewers, and I encourage them to take the chance. It's really worth it.
Thank you so much, Desiree. And I'm very grateful that you actually took some time. It was 7 hours apart. This is the end of the day in Germany. You'll get ready to have your dinner, and you decided to give your time. I can thank you enough for that. And I hope that next time I'm in Europe, we'll get a chance to meet, for sure. And you'll show me around.
Absolutely, that'll be most certain. But thank you for the honor to let me share my experiences with your viewers, and hopefully this helps them. And I know absolutely you are doing a great job to help the many people out there looking for an opportunity to help me. So this is a small gesture I can to give back and repay you for all of your efforts. Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, Desiree. And you have a wonderful rest of the day. I mean, evening, I should say. Thank you.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.